Yeah, sure. My name is Aisha Khan, and I am a second-year MBA student at WashU. Well, initially I started off with a finance concentration, and I was halfway through, but then I decided that I wanted to do marketing, and then I was lucky enough to get an internship in marketing, and that's what I want to do. Anyway, coming back, so I have an undergrad in economics and math, and I was at Express Scripts over the summer in specialty product management, and they just gave me a bunch of projects, and I was really great at them, and it was, yeah, sorry about that. That's my roommate. She's locked out. Anyway, so I was working on a couple of projects for Express Scripts over the summer, and one of them was a current state evaluation and a strategic mapping of a product that they felt was basically going down the drain, and then they asked me to come in and fix it, and I did that. And then I also launched a communication platform for them, but that was more of a side project, really. I mean, it wasn't really the main focus. Other than that, I did a practicum at school last spring with the Terminal Railroad Association of St. Louis, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, I think everyone should take practicums before they enter into the real world, because it kind of gives you a good taste of what work's like, and I mean, it's not the best, but yeah, it's good practice. Yeah, I think I've pretty much rambled on for like a couple of minutes, and you have a great idea what my resume looks like. So yeah, do you have any questions for me? My name is Aisha Khan, and I'm a second-year MBA student at Olin Business School, Washington University. I'm majoring in marketing and strategy. My undergrad majors were in economics and math, after which I decided to go into banking. I was working as a relationship manager in the corporate commercial group of the largest private bank in my country. I was in the business of analyzing proposed equity and debt financings. However, after the economic crisis of 2008 hit, the bank started to rethink its strategy and shifted its focus from acquiring assets to acquiring liabilities. By that I mean, instead of lending more money, they were now bent more on people depositing more, so they have a stronger lending base. As this happened, and I was at the forefront of the significant shift, I realized that strategy actually makes all the difference in a company's future earnings. So I thought that maybe this is what I actually want to do, and I decided to come back to business school for it. I chose Olin because Olin is in the top 3 strategy programs, has one of the top 3 strategy programs in the country, and I was fortunate enough to be accepted here. Over the summer, I was working as a product manager at Express Scripts, an industry leader in pharmacy benefit services. What excites me about Amazon is I feel I can draw a lot of parallels to Amazon and Express Scripts. They're both relatively young companies, have acquired massive growth in the last couple of years, and are very much focused on the customer's experience. They've also been instrumental in nudging out industry giants which have been in the industry for the last couple of decades in a relatively short period of time. I think that my experience as a product manager, coupled with my finance background, plus the marketing and strategy coursework I've done at Olin, positions me effectively for a product management role at Amazon that I'd be very excited to pursue.
So you're asking me why should you hire me for a Apple marketing manager position? Well, my answer is very simple, really. I just really like Apple products. They're so cool and amazing, and I really want to work for a company that does such amazing products. You know, I think this is my dream job, really. Your products are amazing, and I want to work there. The question is, why should you hire me for a product manager position at Amazon? And I have several reasons for this. First of all, I'm very task-oriented and I can hit the ground running. I learn quickly and I take responsibility of my projects very early on. In my naval career, I was able to advance quickly through the ranks, and I was given responsibility of the projects that were usually given to much more senior individuals. Secondly, I have a very extensive experience in leading diverse teams and managing several projects at a time. Throughout my naval career, I was given an opportunity to work with individuals from many diverse backgrounds, from a seasoned Navy lieutenant commander to a young airman, from an Egyptian captain to a Dutch engineer. I was able to bring these teams together to a desired outcome, and I will be able to do the same at Amazon. Thirdly, I'm very intrigued by Amazon's business model, and I have a very sharp focus on consumers and delivering value to them that will keep them satisfied and will keep them coming back. This summer, I worked at Essilor as a marketing MBA intern, and one part of my project was to look at consumers of a new product that we were developing and to figure out their needs and see how our product can meet the consumer needs. I was very successful at doing that this summer, and I will be able to apply the same experience and skills at Amazon as a product manager. So I believe that these reasons and my prior experience are a good match for Amazon, and that's how I will be able to add value to your organization early on.
Difficult client. Where do I start? Well, first of all, this friend of mine, we would always joke whenever we had difficult clients, it's always say the only good client is a dead client. You know, kind of like the only good cat is a dead cat. Oh, you have a cat, I'm sorry. I just have a weird sense of humor sometimes, but I'm sure you'll get to see more of it if I end up working here. So, difficult client. Well, I have a bunch of stories to choose from, but one that comes to mind is I had a really large client endowment fund, and it was just extremely frustrating working with them because they would just send me request after request after request for special reports. I'd send them their yearly return and say, oh, that's great, could you send me our yearly and 3-year return? And you know, I just have to rerun it. So I guess I just kind of had to deal with that for a while. Eventually I kind of just walked around and complained to people, but I think the important thing is to keep that frustration away from the client, and fortunately I don't work there anymore, so that problem kind of resolved itself. A good example of a time I had to deal with a difficult client came in my work experience at a financial consulting firm. I was a portfolio analyst, and my job was to make regular monthly reports on how their investments were doing. Now, sometimes we have to field additional report requests from clients, and this is pretty common. But I had one large client that their analyst on their side kept on sending me request after request after request. And it became very difficult for me to know how to prioritize my time between that and my number one client that I had to do a great deal of work for at the end of the month. So the way I tackled this situation is first I went to my manager and explained the situation, and together we went and talked to the consultant or relationship manager for this client to make sure that it would be appropriate for me to contact their analyst directly. Once I got that buy-in, I went to the analyst and I said, I would love to make sure that I can get you every single report that you need, but it would be very helpful for me if you could always just send me the deadline of when you need the report, if it's to prepare for a meeting or anything like that, so I can prioritize my time more effectively. It really smoothed out the situation. I was able to get that client the special reports he needed while prioritizing my time more effectively. In the end, we were able to retain the client the next cycle, and one of the reasons that they gave us for staying with us is our excellent customer service. And this was very important because they were one of our largest clients. They were approximately $500 million endowment fund for a college.
What time you stop prop using data? Well, this summer
I worked for Nestle USA in Cleveland, Ohio. And I was given, like most CPG firms, 3 projects. My first project was a strategic project. It was about the new direction that Lean Cuisine is going in, the relaunch of the brand in January 2012. They wanted me to figure out what kind of cause or what social marketing we could use with the relaunch. And it was a strategic project, and it really made me think outside the box. The second project I got was more of a creative project. I had to create a POS, which is an in-store point of sale, which is stuff you see for the frozen aisle on the actual doors, their clings, their floor talks, etc. Now the problem that I had with this one was that the entire Lean Cuisine brand was changing in January, and we didn't have anything that I could look at from the past. So it really presented some problems that I was able to kind of overcome. My third project was an analytical data analysis project. It was given to me that I needed to do a product mix analysis. So I met with a bunch of people, ran a bunch of numbers through Nielsen, and came up with the conclusion that the product mix was actually not correct, that we needed to add 2 more SKUs, and if we did that, we'd be able to get our fair share of shelf space. This summer, I worked for Nestle USA on the brand management team of Lean Cuisine. Like most CPG firms, I was given a project, a data analysis analytical project. The scope of the project when it was originally given to me was a product mix analysis of the Lean Cuisine brand. Well, with 133 SKUs, that's a pretty broad topic to have. So my first thought was I needed to strategically find out what they were looking for, what the actual problem was, and what my deliverables should be that would most effectively help them. I spoke to a bunch of cross-functional teams, including market research and sales. I spoke to my director, I spoke to people on the actual Lean Cuisine team, and came to the conclusion that the actual problem was with fair share of shelf space of Lean Cuisine. Once I figured out what the actual problem was, it was easier to approach the data, it was easier to make a story out of this data. I used Nielsen, I used market research, I used panels, I used just aggregate data. I aggregated data that we've used in the past, and I was able to come up with the conclusion that Lean Cuisine actually had a below fair share of shelf space when compared to its competitors of Healthy Choice and Smart Ones. I presented my findings to the CEO and my team, and during my presentation I also noted that if we add 2 more SKUs to our shelf, then we'll be at fair share of shelf space and we'll increase our revenues by 11 million. They took my recommendations and they actually handed it over to sales, and sales will be using it this fall to craft a story for their regional sales managers.
I chose Olin because of their small class size. I really enjoy having such a personalized atmosphere with my classmates and my professors. I also know that it's such a highly prestigious university and it's consistently ranked in the top 15, which is a must for me. I also enjoy their experiential learning opportunities. Last year I did their Taylor Practicum where I did community consulting, and that was a great experience that I got to add to my resume for the summer. I also have had great experience with leadership opportunities. I'm a vice president on a number of boards or a number of clubs, including the OMA, NAMBA, and Olin Cares. So I get a lot of experience through that. And then I also really like the Midwest networking strength that they have here at Olin. As I'm from the Midwest and I plan on staying here, so that will be crucial when I go looking for jobs. Sure, I chose Olin for a number of reasons. First, I really enjoy the small class size. With such customized curriculum, we're able to get a personal experience with both our classmates and professors. Also, I really like their experiential learning programs. Last spring, I was able to take part in the Taylor Community Consulting Program, where I was able to gain invaluable marketing experience that I added immediately to my resume in order to help find an internship in the summer. Another reason I really enjoy Washington University is because it's consistently ranked in the top 15, which lends itself to a prestigious reputation across the Midwest. I find that important because being from the Midwest and hoping to find a career in the Midwest, I am going to rely on that strong alumni network to help me find a job. In summary, Olin has been a great fit for me, and I've gotten nothing but great marketing exposure here.